Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony.
Hey,
You're
where's
watching
my
Into
laptop?
Worldwide. I'm joined by friends Christian Rivas and Mo to talk a little bit about how everything we said about Milan was right. We should have taken 3 points today, and unfortunately, I'm walking away from this a little bit more aggravated than I should have been at a draw. I know it's not the end of the world. I know this keeps the Scudetto in balance. We are nowhere near out of this race, that's for sure. But today was a day, Mo, brother. We didn't just deserve the 3 points. We had the 3 points and we decided to take 2 of them away from us. I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chats. I'm seeing a lot of comments online. I'm ready to play the blame game everywhere. But what I'm not going to tolerate in this live stream from comments or from anyone are low standards, man. I'm not going back to low standards. I'm not talking like we're being coached by Spalletti. So I'll let you guys go first. Off you go, Mo.
I think first half, I didn't see the plan, and I said that on one of the. I didn't see what we were trying to do first half. To be honest, I thought that Milan had a plan, clear, obvious plan to go through the sides to isolate Rafael Leao with Darmian, and to isolate Brahim Diaz behind Perisic, and it was obvious. But for us, I didn't see a plan. I saw a lot of passing and then trying to play long ball to Dzeko, who tried his best, but it seemed to me like we were trying to do a Lukaku plan without Lukaku, like playing long ball, isolate Dzeko and isolate Lautaro 2-on-2, but we don't have Lukaku anymore. But anyway, second half, I think we had 35 minutes until minute 80, total control. 35 minutes second half. We absolutely dominated the game. We created chances after chances for crossing, and a lot of it should have gone our way, but also I'm glad that we did not lose because we really lost focus at the end. That run from the midfield, it could have lost us the game, completely lost us the game, which is something that we saw in Atalanta game where we could have just lost the game easy. But I'm happy with 1 point. I know that realistically, Napoli tying and us beating Milan would bring us a step closer to them for the chase. But based on what I saw on this game, I think a draw is a fair result, to be honest, because I don't think the first penalty is a penalty. That's just my opinion. And we missed the second penalty. So people say we missed the penalty and we didn't, and we got the first one, but you missed your 100% correct penalty and you scored your 50% correct decision. And that's my opinion. I'm happy with 1 point based on what I saw.
Sorry, I would have to agree for the most part. It's just when I relive the moments in the match today that could have resulted in us getting the 3 points, it's just they really overshadow the moments where we couldn't, albeit towards the end, I really saw a couple of chances where Milan probably should have scored. I mean, when that hit the post in the last second, I really thought Kessier was going to bury that. Also, Ibrahimovic's chance where he swings it off his left foot just wide. I thought he was going to bury that as well. Lord Nostradamus, one of the more optimistic fans during the game, although I know there were a couple of decisions that, you disagreed with. Go on. Yeah, timeout. Timeout's good. Good. Kids are way more important. Mo.
Go ahead, Anthony. Tell me. Go ahead.
Inzaghi's made really early subs this season. Today was the game where his 53rd minute subs would have been the right ones, but he waited very long to bring in the likes of Correa and Sanchez, waiting until the likes of Dzeko even went to the floor before subbing him out. There's also 24 people here right now, which is important to acknowledge, and I'll go to some of the comments soon. But we'll go over to Christian. In terms of the decisions in the game with Inzaghi, we've seen him sub so early throughout the season. Why didn't he sub a little earlier tonight?
He pissed the whole game away. That's all I'm gonna say. He pissed the game. You saw in the 60th minute we had Milan on their heels. They looked gassed, like they were ready to flop. We should have subbed in Arturo Vidal. We should have subbed in Correa, and we should have subbed in Alexis a lot sooner than that. All right. One, Dzeko wasn't doing nothing. Lautaro wasn't doing much. And then you need somebody for the midfield. You get what I mean? It's just, in my opinion, if we would have made those 3 subs around minute 60, 65, we would have been fine.
Yeah.
Any other game, he does it. Today, he chooses not to. He plays. Milan were right for the picking during minute 47 all the way to minute 76. Literally in that 30-minute gap.
You could see Pioli regressing them as the game went on. The 7-point lead to him is magic at the moment, bro. There was no way he was sacrificing it. No way. Bro,
in terms of the penalties, the first penalty was a penalty in my opinion, just because of the simple fact that Tessier got picked for his pocket got picked. Simple as that. Yeah. He lost it and he tried to play by flopping, and in terms of flopping, he stuck his leg into Hakan's legs.
Yeah.
PK all day. Lautaro's PK, that was probably the most perfectly placed PK. It was just a great save. You got to call it what it is.
It was a good save, but it wasn't in the corner, bro. To me, a good penalty kick is the one that hits the net.
For me, it's low into the corner with pace.
Yeah.
That's what we're taught to do. As a striker, you're taught low into the corner with pace. You did that, it was a hell of a save.
I saw you in the chat. Or was it you or someone else saying it should have been Perisic? I'm like, maybe it should have been Perisic because he got the last one.
I would have given it to Perisic just for the simple fact that the way we were playing, you need somebody with that type of ice cold veins for a high pressure situation. Not taking anything away from Toto, because Toto's hit tons and tons of penalties. But in that instance, I would have gave it to Perisic just because Perisic is one of those players that you could put him in the World Cup final, fifth penalty taker, and he's gonna take it fine. I'm not worried about him. You know, that's just me personally. I still think that Lautaro played a couple good balls. He got Bastoni in one-on-one. Bastoni just doesn't have pace to finish. Also on that first penalty, Lautaro gave the ball to the second penalty. Lautaro gave the ball to Darmian. Darmian got fouled in the box. Well played. You know, we could sit there and pick and choose which plays were good and which plays were bad. That being said, just because he did everything else right, you're a striker. Strikers' jobs are to finish. Even if you're the second striker, that one where he tried to hit it low to the corner, he did a good touch and he should have finished that one. The other one,
Barella should have scored, man. Barella should have hit it a little better rather than just tapping it over the line. Even though there were 3 bodies in the goal, I'm ready to admit Barella should have finished that, of course.
Barella should have finished 2. He should have finished 2. Toto should have finished 3. Dzeko really was non-existent.
Had one sitter in the second half.
Yeah, he had like one header that should have gone in. Let's see who else missed. Vidal.
Yeah,
he could have finished that, but he had defenders crashing in. If he would have took one more touch on the second shot, he would have been in open net. You know, the defender goes sliding, he takes a shot, boom, deflected. I just think Toto needs to do more on that. Dzeko needed to be involved more. It was more of a fight in the midfield. You can see that Milan were tired and gassed out for most of the second half, and we didn't take advantage. As far as the first half, it's like Mo said. What were we doing? It just looked like we were playing long ball and chase end-to-end action. That's all it was. I felt like I was watching Premier League.
Can I interfere here and ask you a question, guys? One thing. It's actually related to what Christian is saying. Is it because Inzaghi is a good coach? He reads the game second half? Because I think 80% of our games that we played this season, we actually play better second half. Tactically, we dominate second half. We come back to the game second half. We play you remember the Sassuolo, the Fiorentina, all these games, right? Why the first half Inzaghi, and I have an opinion, I'm going to say it after you guys. Why Inzaghi gets out tactic most of the time, the first half? Why our players? Is it psychologically? Because I don't think so, because these players are champions. I'm sorry. These are not psychologically weak players, right? But why we go to the games, always, you guys on the chat, on Twitter, we get an overrun in the midfield. Our defenders are marking wrong. Ibrahimovic is playing last man instead of playing as someone is picking him up. And De Vrij is marking as sweeping. It was Ibrahimovic on De Vrij. So if De Vrij made a mistake, boom, he would have been gone. He had a stinker of a game, Ibrahimovic, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But why are we second best most of the time first half, and we recover second half?
I mean, a lot of that just has to do with adjustments. You know, regardless, any team's like that. Once you make your adjustments, you're going to adjust to the game. It's just a basic coaching philosophy. Inzaghi puts out his best players. He hopes that they can do what he wants him to do. When he sees it's not working, he regresses to a previous tactic and just lets the players do what they do best. He's just like, all right, if this isn't working, express yourself, do what you think's best for this situation, and do what you got to do. Then when he comes in with subs, you got to look at our bench, bro. Like, whose bench is better than ours? Whose bench can bring in Alexis Sanchez, Joaquin Correa, Arturo Vidal, Stefano Sensi? What other team can bring in that type of bench? The only other team is maybe Juve, and even then, I don't think they have the same amount of quality as we do on the bench. And that's what my next thing I'm going to say real quick is, there's a lot of people out there that say if we would have lost this game, title is done. Like, yo, first of all, we're 11 games into the season. It's a 38-match season. It's not literally just 15 games and that's it. All right, we're not playing Sunday League here. This is Serie A, 38 games. Your season is not done off the first 15 games. You get a better image on who's going to do what around match day 20. And again, we had it with Pioli, we had it with Spalletti, where we've gone far, and then here comes December, January, and we flop. Who's to say that they're not going to have the same situation? Napoli, look at Napoli, they're going to lose Ousmane and a bunch of players for the African Cup of Nations in January. So you're not going to see them being as clinical. Milan is literally riding off of luck right now. Luck can only get you so far. At some point, the quality has to take over. And in terms of what you're talking about, I don't know if Inzaghi knows what the fuck he's doing.
I wouldn't go that
Tell
far.
me, Anthony,
I know Mo's starting to think that way. Go on, Mo.
No. I want to hear your opinion, Anthony, about why are we second best first half? If I'm a coach, I need to read the other team before I go to the game. Like, it's very obvious thing. Just freaking watch the tape.
We've been having these conversations since basically every game except Bologna and Genoa this season, I think. Maybe bar one more. But even in the Champions League, we had this conversation on one match day. And I know against Sassuolo and Fiorentina, we were all over this conversation. A better Fiorentina or Sassuolo side buried the game against us at halftime. We had to wait till the second half to play reactionary football. And the thing is, under Antonio Conte, it was always about being control of the game, the progress of the game, and the structure of the game. Whereas Inzaghi is almost like, all right, let's get to the point where the other team is tired, and then we'll just ransack in the second half. I don't know what happens in that dressing room at halftime. I don't know what Simone Inzaghi says at halftime, but I don't think there's been a single game this season where we haven't come out of the dressing room looking like a 3 times, 4 times, 5 times better side than we were in the first half. Now, I know this happens in a lot of teams. This is not just an Inter thing. I have never managed at a level where, you get paid or professional or anything like that. A lot of managers are conservative, even at top level. And would you say that Simone Inzaghi is just making sure he's not overplaying his side or not overstepping his tactics to the point where he might concede too many goals? Because the way I see it, Mo, he's already doing that by playing negative football. It just so happens that he must really trust the personnel on the side. And to his credit, Skriniar, De Vrij, Bastoni, even Brozovic, like our defensive end of the board gets it done more times than not. But we're still waiting for that really big elusive victory this season. We had the 2-1 lead. We had the chance to beat Atalanta. We didn't beat them. We lost to Lazio. We had a late draw with Juve, and now we got the draw to Milan. We need to win these bigger games. It's not the end of the world if we don't win the Scudetto this season, mate, but I don't want to get to match day 25, 26 and already be out of the race because we've dropped too many head-to-head points against bigger sides.
But just to be honest with you, I'm going to just follow up on what Christian said. Listen, man, I have people, just go back to Twitter last year, when people after match day 10, when people said, Inter is in a disaster. We're not even going to make Champions League. And I remember this conversation.
I remember November last year was a very interesting month for most rivals.
Me and Christian sat in one of the chats and we said, guys, chill. We're going to win the Scudetto. We're going to be there and there about it comes the end of the season. Nobody's guaranteed Scudetto, but people said, we're not even going to make Champions League. No. It's because the difference between, and I'm not sticking it out to Inzaghi or anything, but because he's done a great job at Lazio. Conte, the crazy game against Fiorentina last year, you remember in the beginning, we got hit on the counter. The difference is Conte was always criticized for having too much control of the game. We had too much position without creating, and we get hit on the counter because the transition, you remember the transition was too slow for us from offense to defense. Excuse me. And he fixed that. Second half of the season, I get all the pundits talking about Inter. We're too negative because people don't like whatever they see. People just don't like to talk positive about Conte. He tried being in control. People didn't like it. He tried being defensive and play counter-attack. People said, oh, you won the Scudetto with a counter-attacking team and a defensive team. So screw that. You know what?
Even though we scored the most goals and created the most goal-scoring opportunities.
So screw that. Talk about Inzaghi. There is a massive difference between when you get into the game and the other team dominate you tactically. And Inzaghi, based on what Christian said and what you said, Inzaghi is actually a master in reading the game at halftime, because it's not a coincidence that we come out halftime always great. And it's not just players sitting together in the locker room saying, oh my God, we're gonna kill this team second half. No, it's tactics. He reads the game. He puts the players second half in the right position, and it showed today. It showed in a lot of other games. I remember the Real Madrid game second half. We were absolutely great. We were phenomenal second half, to be honest. We just lost it to loss of concentration at the end. But for some reason, and I'm not claiming that I was coached to the highest division, but for some reason, I feel like our players need more instructions. And the reason why, and I'm not sure if you guys agree with that, is that Inzaghi is still in between his philosophy and the working philosophy of a winning team. You know, when you go to a winning team, you don't want to disrupt the system that was already winning last year. So he doesn't want to like implement everything that he wants from a team, because he already got a winning team. And he doesn't want to just destroy that mentality and bring new tactics. And that's what happens all the time the first half.
Yep, I would have to agree, bro. But Christian, let's talk a little bit about the players who, actually did perform really, really well today. And, the Turk, man, he came to play. He was back with a vengeance, man. Every time he was involved. Lost a lot of the ball, don't get me wrong, and still did very Hakan things, especially in the first half. But you gotta really, really give it to the guy for his tenacity, his commitment, and the level of balls on him to step up and not only win but take that penalty.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think he was fine. He wasn't the problem. He did his job today. He was actually great. But at points, I was like, man, we need to sub this guy, just because our best midfield wasn't with him. Our best midfield was literally Vidal, Brozovic, Barella. In a game like this, you want to put out your best players, your best lineup. And that's pretty much why he started Dzeko with Lautaro, because remember we had this conversation. We were saying that if it was up to us, we start Tuco Correa with Lautaro or even Alexis, because they're more informed. It is what it is. I think Hakan was fine. Darmian did well. The back line, mainly Milan Skriniar, did great. Perisic was for me. Yeah, I think he was my man of the match.
Man of the match, yes. Man of the match for me, for sure.
Yeah. And outside of that, there's not much I can complain about, bro. Honestly, I just, my whole beef was with Inzaghi. Like there was moments in the match you felt where we had it. It was ours. You need to inject players to put that final oomph like you did in several other games, and you didn't. You literally played it safe, and playing that safe, Dzeko went down hurt, Barella went down hurt.
Yeah, so that was my next question. The little strains that Barella and Dzeko took, and even Darmian didn't look 100% after this. We're burning a few of these players out, Mo. Are you a little worried? And how worried do you think these injuries?
International break.
We're going on an international break. However, the Azzurri could really use some Barella magic against Switzerland, but I think they've got more than enough options to choose from in that midfield.
Yeah, I'm not that worried. He can run, so it's not a tear. If it was a tear, he would have been on the ground and couldn't run. So the other thing I wanted to, why we're not using Sensi anymore? It's
good question. Was he even on the bench today?
Yes, he was.
He was.
I mean, I wouldn't have brought him in for this game either. It just didn't fit his profile. I think Arturo was the right sub. And after Arturo, then it would have been Sensi. But at that point, Hakan wasn't bad. So it's one of those things. When Barella went out hurt, you brought in Vidal, and you didn't want to really throw off the balance in the midfield, because Brozo was doing fine.
No. I would bring in Sensi for the last 5-10 minutes for Hakan, because Hakan can run out of gas. Like, the guy ran his ass off today, to be honest. I've not seen Hakan run that much. Like there was that play in the 85th minute where Hakan was the last one to come back, even after I think Sanchez and Correa came back. He came back. He was very late, and at that moment, come on, he can't run anymore. And I don't know why Inzaghi insisted that just even bring Gagliardini in. The guy can run anymore, Hakan, and I would use Sensi. To be honest, I still have faith in Sensi, and I still think he's class, and I think he can offer something to this team. But I just want to say something about Dzeko today. If Lautaro buried that chance that he put outside of the post, Dzeko set up that really, really well. And that is something that with experience, not a lot of strikers will set up their teammate inside the 18-yard box, and he did it with very, very efficient and calm. And we would have talked about Dzeko better than this. I think Dzeko today was marked really well, but I think he did his job. He didn't score, but he did his job, I think, in my opinion. Maybe a 6 out of 10, you know what I mean? Like he just gave you a 6.
You know, to be honest with you, we were having this conversation, like Anthony was reading in the chat earlier, and they were talking about Lautaro, and I was like, yo, like, I've talked about this with Uncle Sharma, with my Theo, you know, like straight up, sometimes these players do their jobs. They do great at everything else, being in the right place, getting the ball in, key passes, assists, everything. But the fans look at it, if you're not scoring, you're not doing your job. I get it. You're a striker. That's your job. Strikers score. But in the same
can I add
sense,
something to this? But can I add something? The difference between Lautaro and Dzeko today, Lautaro had the chances and he did not finish. So I'll take this on Lautaro. That's a different. Dzeko did not have a clear-cut chance today to score. If he had a couple of clear-cut chances and he didn't score, I would have blamed him, but he didn't. He didn't even have any space to take a shot or do anything. But Lautaro had 2 really, really good chances. One of them is the penalty. One of them is the other chance. And I think he should have betted the other chance, maybe easier than the penalty because he had a lot of space, to be honest. The penalty was a great save, as Anthony said.
Don't get me wrong.
As Christian said,
this was Toro's worst game. I'm not sitting there denying that. But what I'm saying is that these players have jobs to do, and you got to understand it's not just about scoring.
Absolutely.
A lot of the off-the-ball movement, a lot of stuff like that, all that comes into play. You can't just look at his player, his efficiency is just he scored, that's it. No, you got to look at assists, you got to look at key passes, you got to look at everything else that's done. He opened spaces for Lautaro. Dzeko did everything off the ball. He did a lot of work. But the thing is, you need him to do more than just that. And that's where it's coming from. Is today the forwards on both sides were shit. Ibra sucked. Toro and Dzeko were trash.
Leao sucked. Leao today. Leao today is not his attitude was actually like he doesn't want to be there for some reason. Rafael Leao.
Milan, would you want to be there?
I thought he was pocketed pretty well on that side by Barella and Darmian, to be honest. I thought they both did their job tracking him, especially in the first half. Darmian was the one that actually committed and actually took the ball off him a few times. So Matty Darms doing his thing. He's really playing well, man. It's just he gets in the right positions, and then when it comes down to that final product and when it comes down to that final intensity, it's not there for him, but it was there for him in the final third for the penalty today. I was actually worried when Dumfries came on. I thought Inzaghi was overcommitting the attack, bringing in Correa, Dumfries, and Sanchez later on. I thought this is where it's starting to get really nervous. And Christian said it. We had him from about minute 47 to 78. And then Mo said in the last part of the game, we're really worried. And I think that's because we were overcommitting players forward and giving Milan so much time on the transition. Milan were gassed. They were more tired than we were. They were holding out for the minutes. And I think we just really let them in the game at the end. So as time's going on, I'm definitely content with the point. It could have been worse. See, the thing is, it could have been worse, but it should have been better. We should have won this game, man. That's what I'm saying.
That's
also,
though.
But Tony, go ahead.
We should have won the game. That's the thing is, this to me felt more like points dropped than a point
for sure. There's no such thing as points gained when you're -7 off the top, bro. That's just a weird sentence to be talking about in the beginning. But as you said, and as you're making me realize, both of you, it's match day 11. It's not match day 31, obviously. Spalletti's Napoli, I managed to wake up and catch the last half an hour of their game. They are looking like they're finally starting to hit to gas it really, really quickly. That return game, Mo, from the international break against Napoli, talk about must wins. We really do need to win that one, in my opinion, or at least not drop all the points.
So I hope that Barella doesn't play at all for the next 2 weeks. That's what I'm hoping.
Of the international break, yeah.
Like, I hope that Barella will never touch the field the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Today, Bastoni
Ready?
actually showed his class again, to be honest, today, on the ball and off the ball by moving Bastoni. And he had a really rough start to the season, but today Bastoni was absolutely class. The movement was absolutely great. He
was great on the ball, yeah.
Acerbi stuff for Inzaghi. You remember Acerbi last year for Inzaghi? He used to be assisting, scoring, stuff like this. He actually assisted, like he should have assisted that goal to Barella, that first half chance. Barella should have buried that and Bastoni would have gotten the assist. But Bastoni today was great. De Vrij was okay, did his job. Skriniar is a beast. People didn't like Brozovic, and Anthony, somebody said that they didn't like Brozovic today, and I actually disagree. Actually, Brozovic today was always under pressure, Brozovic, and he showed that he can do it under pressure as well. Last year, Brozovic always crumbled under pressure. You remember the UV game when they put Kolosovsky on him?
Yeah.
But this today, they tried to put somebody on him, and he always found the space to pass and find the space to play the ball first and second half.
For sure. Thanks to the 30 people that have joined me today. I'm a little late for work, but to be honest, I'm having a really good time. Let's go over to the comments. Lord Foxtrot says, great game by Inter. I feel this team with Lukaku. I don't want to be talking about ifs, man. We got to look forward. We got to look forward. We've got the right team. We've got a decent coach. Let's just figure out how we can fix up these minute problems that I like to over-exaggerate a little bit, but that's what we do here on Inter Worldwide. We're passionate. We know how to fix things. And Mo, at the end of the day, we're the champs. If you're not going to hold yourself up to the highest standard, do you deserve to call yourself the champions of a domestic league? You have to hold the standards high, brother.
Absolutely, man. Well, we're still the champions at this point.
Exactly.
We're still the champions.
Of course. Benjamin says we wasted a lot of chances. I thought we played better, save for those final minutes at the end of the game. Yep. I do think we were better. Omar says we should have deployed Sanchez earlier. I would agree. I think it might have been a little better for him to come on a little earlier. Benjamin says all goals were scored by Inter players. Unfortunately, it was an own goal. Yeah, you can't really say much for the own goal, man. It is what it is. De Vrij and Skriniar both had their heads mixed up. It looks like they were both convinced Ballo-Touré was going to get ahead to the ball because they kind of just like squinted their eyes after he jumped in front of them. I think they thought there was a collision course coming there or something. Harry says, I can't stay for the live stream. Overall, proud of the boys. We should have taken Dzeko off earlier. We looked tired. Second half game could have gone either way. Draw seems like the fair result. What's going on? The game says, why were the subs so late? Yeah, definitely spoke about that. The Milan subs changed the game. Our subs were too late to make an impact. Would you agree there, Christian?
No. Because their subs were already made, and it's not like they took over the game. We ended up just pretty much running out of gas. That's all it was. And our subs were just made to like we're killing time. That's all it was we're milking the clock. But one thing to say before I head out, because I got to go to Tarjay, is Mario Gagliano says it the best. You don't win the Scudetto beating all the big teams. You win it beating all the small teams. That's all I want to say.
100%. But last year, man, we were racking up those points against those bigger teams, probably a little bit more than this time around. But, overall, that's a true statement, bro. Christian Rivas, my friend, have a good day with you and your family, man.
All right. Later, Mo.
See you, mate.
Later, man.
More comments coming in. Mo, if you wanted to head off and join Sharma on his channel, by all means, I'm going to go to work in about 10 minutes time, but stick around if you want. Franco says we can't do well against big size, so disappointing. Just again, Franco, what we've been saying, we were better today. We almost had it today. All that was missing was the round object that we keep crossing the line. Antor says we were the better team, just weren't clinical enough for sure. John, welcome back, bro. Thanks for always joining in. Chala, definitely beat Kessier on the ball, and it's definitely a pen. Mo, in 2021, I've just taken this stance where I'm just not arguing with the refs anymore. Whatever the decision happens must be the right decision, especially in Serie A. It was a weird one for me, bro, that first penalty, because I could have sworn Hakan makes the first leap, the first lunge with his leg, and I actually think Kessier gets a little tangled. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's not a penalty, Anthony. You know why it's not a penalty for one reason? Because Hakan did not touch the ball. There is a mess. Yes, Kessie got boxed and he lost the ball. If Hakan touched the ball or Dzeko touched the ball, that means it's in Inter's position now. Any tangle, that means you're preventing an Inter player from taking a shot or taking the second touch. But nobody had a position of the ball, right? And who tangled who first? It's Hakan made Kessie fall from the pressure and Kessie fall, and then it's a tangled of leg. But I don't think it's a. To be honest, I think it's a 20% penalty and 80%. But the difference is it's not a clear and obvious error that it should have been overturned. But to be honest, the referee should not have called it. He should have waited for VAR to tell him, come look at it, and then he can make up his mind. He called it very early. I'm an Inter fan, but I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's a penalty, because picking somebody's pocket does not mean you get a penalty. That's something else. That's something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's some of the decisions in this game were very strange. Diaz, there was a foul on him and it wasn't called. There was a foul on Darmian that was very obvious and it wasn't called. It's just very strange sometimes that some of the decisions are unjustified, and some of the decisions that he made in the second half were very soft. So it's either you let the game go and set a standard, or you call the soft ones.
Yeah.
And he did either. So he didn't either. Yeah. So
I saw mixed reactions. Like some people watching the game were like, they're happy that the ref is letting things go. But then as the game went on, people were like, no, you got to hold the same standards to both things here. One other incident that I saw, that Hakan didn't handball that in the last 3 minutes, did he? When the cross came into the box?
The hand was right here.
Cool. And this was the same reason. This was the same reason, if I'm not mistaken, that Danilo's use of the hand wasn't a penalty yesterday, because it comes in and Danilo keeps the hands like this, close to his body.
Like this. So if it's like this, and it's if your hand is not here, the ball would go to your chest. If your hand is making your body bigger, now it's a handball. So if I'm protecting my face like this and it hit my hand, I'm like, okay, if it doesn't hit my hand, it's gonna hit my face. This is why this year they changed it. It's subjective. Now.
It's subjective.
The referees, very subjective to the referee's decision. And people said, "Oh, it's a handball on Danilo." It wasn't. It wasn't a handball. Bastoni had a similar one. It hit Bastoni's arm, but it was right here as well, so it's not a penalty.
Yeah. So this is the comment I'm talking about, man. What Mike says, draws versus Atalanta, lost to Milan, draw to Juve, draw to Milan, no one scoring against Real Madrid. It's those sort of zeros and ones, those fine margins that an Antonio Conte can make the difference. But I've still got the faith in Inzaghi. It's his first season. I said this over the phone to many friends this week and on my last video. If Spalletti's Napoli, Mo, and Pioli's Milan weren't having such a stellar season so far, we would be looking at Inzaghi going, wow, you are doing quite an amazing job considering the tools that you lost in the last 3 weeks of your transfer market. You're actually doing quite a good job here, mate. I know today Mo is not his finest hour, but he's still getting used to it. And, I don't think any Inter fans take the Lazio fans seriously when they say, Inzaghi was at a big club already. Lazio is not the same as Inter. I'm sorry, it's not. Lazio is a big-ish club, but it is not a huge club the way we are. And I still think Inzaghi is finding his psychological feet there a little bit.
I agree with you. There's a massive difference between the demands of Inter's management and fans to the demands that Lazio's fans. Inter fans, at this point, at this year, if we don't win Scudetto, Inter fans, not me and you maybe, but 90% of Inter fans will be upset. They'll say, if Juve is not winning it, it's supposed to be us. Don't tell me Milan, don't tell me Napoli. You remember me and you in the beginning of the season, we said it's either us or Juventus because Allegri is there. And if Juventus are not winning it, it should be us. So most Inter fans will think that we should win the league. I doubt that Lazio, their budget, how big the club is, and with all due respect to Lazio fans and everybody from Lazio, Inter are always playing to win the Scudetto, especially if you are buying players like Lukaku. Yes, we sold Lukaku. Yes, we sold Hakimi to balance the books, but we have a $70 million euro striker. I'm sorry. We have a 15 million euro center back. Two of them, Skriniar and Bastoni, both of them. If you have $100 million backline, 100 million euro backline, you're playing for the Scudetto. If you have the best midfielder in the league, with all due respect to Sergio Milinkovic, Savic, Barella is the best midfielder in the league right now. you play for the Scudetto. You don't play to win, to go to Champions League. And if anybody tells me that we're going to play, if I make Champions League this year, I'm happy. No, I'm not. If I don't win Scudetto this year, based on what Juventus are doing, not based on Milan and Napoli. The only people that have the squad, I'm not talking about first 11. Napoli have first 11 maybe better than anybody else, but they don't have the squad, the whole squad to play 38 games. I think we have the squad with Juventus to play 38 games. And we're only, their coach is better than ours, more experience. I'm not going to say better or worse, more experience than ours. But I think we should go for the Scudetto. And 11 games in, 7 points behind. We were at the same exact point after 15 games last year. And we still won the Scudetto by a margin.
Yeah, 100%. Well said, bro. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to have to head off in about 5 minutes' time. So this is where I'm going to let my beautiful guests depart while I give some acknowledgements in the comments. Mo, thank you so much for joining me this morning, my brother.
And, thank you so much. We'll see you guys.
See you soon. Thank you, Mo, brother. Guys, thank you so much for coming into Interworldwide today. It's been my absolute pleasure. Let me give the acknowledgements in the comments to those. Thank you, Kamal, for coming in. Sub-Zero, my G. Lord Foxtrot, Ben, Omar, Harry, The Game, Barella is the best. Yes, he is. Great username as well. Franco, ciao Franco, always good to see you. Anto YT, Omar E, that is. Got a couple of Omars in here now. Mike Balaban, it was good to see you. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, my brother. It was really good to see you here. Sal Gentile, always around. Musti Ali, salam alaikum, brother. Good to see you again. Tim, always a pleasure. Make sure you check out Tim's videos on the Conversation Starter on our Football Worldwide platform. John Yusufi, always here. And that's where I'm up to in the comments as well. So let's just resume right there. John says Hakan was the right choice today. First half, we suffered because Brozo was being man-marked by Krunic. Yep, well said. Also, we started moving the ball up the wings instead of long balls. Yeah, that's where Perisic really started to get involved in the game, man. Perisic on the ball in the second half was very, very dangerous. Results-wise in big matches, Limone is worse than Conte, but I can't say we performed badly. We created so many chances. The killer mentality is not there. Thanks, Dr. Bell. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Paulino is in the chat. Thanks, bro. Bilana, who we thought we were, and we let him off the hook. Yes, that's Norberto, isn't it? I think so. It could be him. I don't know. But honestly, they were there for the taking, and we did let them off the hook, and that's why I'm pissed off. I knew I would be. If coming out of this game knowing we deserved to win and didn't, I knew that would rattle me. I knew it would rattle me. Dzeko is vital as an outlet when Milan locked up our build-up off the press, and he is the only one that can win the in-air battles. He won a lot of in-air battles today, man. He won a lot of aerial duels. Hakan is very good for many things today, finally, but we still have to improve. Sal Gentile says, we need a true backup for Dzeko. Once Dzeko, but yes, the hitman is needed. Correa and Sanchez, we've got the two best backups for Lautaro, the two best second striker backups in Serie A. They're not strikers. They're not target men. They're not number 9s. With Ibra on the box defending, it's quite hard for Hakan to threat. Yeah, a little bit. You could say the same for any striker that decides to go in the box and defend, though. So we're stacking injury problems. Dzeko, Barella, and Bastoni are injured. Bruv, it's international break coming up. So I don't think Bastoni is injured. I don't think. Maybe you're confusing him with Damian. Sanchez should have come on earlier for Dzeko. Agree. Putting Dumfries on the field is damn today, to be honest. We lack pace. That's our biggest problem in big games. I would have to agree. Bastoni has the skills that are rare for a defender. He's the best ball-carrying defender in Serie A, in my opinion. Y'all are T1. Bro, you are T1. You are T1 for being here. Like and subscribe, my friend. What's going on? Chopping more. Good to see you again. Brozo wants that 7 mil to play good. Man, he must. We've got a Chala fanboy in the house, a Turk fanboy in the house. What's going on, Vessel? Thanks for joining us, my bro. Subscribe if you're new. Beta, what's going on, my friend? I don't get why our routine is starting with a horrible attacking duo and then trying to save the night, bro. Dzeko Lautaro is not a bad starting duo. They are a good starting duo, and in the grand scheme of Serie A, one of the better starting duos. This was a hard game today and a game that needed substitutions and leadership on the pitch a little bit more. You don't have to touch the ball to take possession, kind of like Messi against Koulibaly in Champions League. Yeah, I guess so. But like Sub-Zero, you see our reservations as to why that probably isn't a penalty. Like if we gave that away at the other end, I don't even know if I could call that a penalty for us. I really don't know. What's going on, Lord Figo? Greatest player. Look at him right there. Poor finishing cost us. I would agree. Start Correa, Lautaro, then add Dzeko for a 3-4-2-1 to chase the game. Use the resources with their physical limitations. It's going to really depend how we come back from the international break, man. It really is, because we've got Napoli straight away. And, you know, you drop points against Napoli and you let Milan win that next game against Fiorentina, you might be looking at early curtains. Let's not forget about the other teams like Atalanta and Lazio, who won on the weekend, as well as Juventus as well. This is a long season. If we're not out of the Scudetto race, we're definitely not out of the probability that we could finish out of the top 4. And that's just real talk. My Scudetto point is good. Milan and Napoli will break. Love the optimism, but I'm a sort of seeing is believing sort of person. You don't have to, yeah, we sort of said that comment already. Thanks for the stream. Thanks, Jake Kalea, for coming in as well. Al says he wants Zapata in. Yeah, for 40 mil, that's not going to happen. And while he's still scoring for Atalanta, that price isn't going down either. Mid-season, it could be even more. Milan are as lucky as they can get. Yeah, but you make your own luck. And right now, their luck has them sitting second on the ladder. So that's it. And that's it for me today for Inter Worldwide as I head off to a working day. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know if you are new to the channel. Tune into Inter Worldwide this week for a lot of different content and also football worldwide as well. If you haven't already, make sure you go and check out Serie A Fantasy. The code is there at the bottom. You can create your own team and compete against fellow Inter Worldwide participants, and it's going pretty well at the moment. So thank you so much for joining us here again today. I wish I was coming at you with the 3 points, but, you know, 1 point is better than none, apparently. All right, guys. Forza Inter. Ciao.